Hey, 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 what's up, everybody in the world? This is Ace Michael Show, and I am a bit perturbed, if I'm saying it correctly. I am a little set off my rocker here. I'm kind of like a wet kitty, not a happy wet kitty, but a wet kitty that's a little miffed. And the reason I'm miffed, okay, because I know you guys care about me and you don't want me to be upset. I appreciate that. But the reason I'm miffed is because we in this country are not treating our seniors with the dignity and respect that they deserve. That's right. That's right. I said it. Yeah. If you think about these crimes against our seniors have gotten to an all-time high level. I watched a video the other day of an ICE agent totally dismantling this older man. He was standing there with a cane. They took his cane. They but forced him to the ground. And ice or no ice, I don't care if you're pro ice or neg ice. That's not the point. The point is that this was a man in his probably 80 years old. And what was he doing? He was just talking. He was just standing there talking, and they abused him. And I've seen many other videos like this, and I've heard terrible, terrible, terrible stories about abused seniors. I used to work with a lady who was 77 years old with colon cancer, and this husband and wife team were trying to get her house from her. They kept trying to work their way into being her guardian so that they could take her house, her car. They had designs on everything she was going to be owning was going to be theirs as soon as she died. They had it all set up, and it sickened me to my stomach. It sickened me. And very little sickens me, guys. I can eat like 12 chili dogs and it don't sicken me. I'm just saying. That sickened me. So I'd like to know what you think about it. If you feel as enraged as I do, we're not even going to get on. We might actually get on the veterans. That's a whole nother level of game. But I totally think of all of the crimes that are unacceptable, the misuse of seniors, the abuse of seniors, the conniving and conning seniors, that is a direct route to you're going to hell. That is my opinion. Today on the show, we have someone who is not going to hell. She's a beautiful, talented individual who's making the world a better place one day at a time. My good friend Irina Hansen is on the show today. Irina, welcome to the Ace Michael Show, baby.
Thank you so much, Michael, for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Glad to be here with you.
Yes, indeed. She's the only one that gets to call me Michael. Nobody calls me that but you. I love it. I love it.
Michaels.
I love it. Do it. I love it. The more I hear it, the more I embrace it. I love it. Love it. So, Irina, before we go into maybe you want to add to the topic of the day, but let's talk about you real quick because you are always doing amazing things. You did a campaign for mayorship of Las Vegas or mayorship of it was Las Vegas you were going to be
It
mayor
was
of.
Las Vegas. Yeah, city of Las Vegas last year.
And then now you're
2024.
taking it to the level where you are actually doing a campaignship for governor of Nevada.
Yeah, correct.
My first question is why? Why would you want such stress?
Well, actually, I never signed up for this, Michaels. I never, I have to be honest with you, I never aspired to, be a politician. I never, saw myself in, politics.
Yeah.
However, unfortunately, the journey and the path, that I've been on the last 7 years,
Uh-huh.
has led me, to this decision. And so basically, it's just, behind the scenes, I've just seen so many things, that are not right and so many corrupt things that are going on behind the scenes. And I'm sure, using the word corrupt, I mean, everybody knows it's like a nationwide crisis right now. We
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
unhinged, judicial branch, government officials, all sorts of craziness going on. So it's no surprise. But so that's what's inspired me, to run is because currently our politicians, have miserably failed the constituents of Nevada. And so we need to fix that.
Right. I agree. But
And
what are they gonna do? Like, because it
it,
seems like it's so messed up, you kind of have to like restart the whole thing and get it fresh.
absolutely. And what I've been saying is that we need to drain the desert swamp.
Mm.
You know, that's how corrupt it is, literally. So,
Mm.
when I get in office, there's going to be, a lot of jobs available because we're going to be firing a lot of people. Okay.
Okay, good. So there you go.
Okay.
So
That's how
that's
you
where that's
drain the
gonna happen.
swamp.
Nice,
Right? I
nice.
mean, literally, Michaels, you can't have, people that have been working from the previous administration and continue on, if you're trying to make changes and bring about some positive changes, right? And fix a broken system. You
Hmm.
can't have people with the same mentality moving forward with you, right? You got to let those people go.
Right.
And this is where I have a problem with, I think it's concerning, let's just say, that my opponent, Governor Lombardo, currently the incumbent, hired 7 operatives of, Sisolak's administration to come work for his administration, right? But
Hmm.
at the same time here, it's tell me, it's I mean, why would a Republican, so-called, Republican, governor on paper and in title,
Hmm.
hire Sisolak's, operatives who's completely, from the Democratic Party. And not that I have anything against the Democrats, but, or the Republicans, but, you got to be who you say you're going to be, right? Who you
Mm.
are. So if he's, far left, as we've seen from his policies, then stop hiding behind the title that you're a Republican. You see what I'm saying? And just trying to
Okay.
get that
Okay.
Republican vote. Does it make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Which, speaking of making sense, now for most of us, politics doesn't make any sense. So sometimes
Mm-mm.
I follow like what you guys are saying, and then I get lost in the darkness. Like if you go to church, the pastor's sermon, it starts off, you're right there with them at the beginning. You're like, yeah. And then somewhere he just starts to lose you, and you're like, I don't know anything about that terminology or that. What is that? What? Right?
Right.
So I guess I want to make it clear to people like what happens in the mind of a person who is living her life, going about her day, and she decides that, you know what, I need to be part of the change that needs to happen to run this world more effectively. It seems like a whole lot had to change you and mold you to make you say that you were going to be that determined about this.
Right, right. So you're asking me where the determination and the passion comes from, right?
Oh,
So let me go ahead and answer that, because I've lived and worked in Nevada for approximately almost 30 years,
okay.
and so I've been in the real estate industry for about 22 years, and in small business for about 14 years. And so where does the passion and the determination come from? It's when the government gets involved in our business and takes away our livelihoods, right?
Okay.
So when they got into my, personal business and have, taken away my livelihood, which was, my salon business industry,
Hmm.
I had a skincare line, very successful skincare line that I developed. I'm licensed as a cosmetologist also as well, and an advanced esthetician. So I built, a pretty successful business, and it happened during the time that I went through a divorce, which should have been any normal divorce. You would think, okay, we're going to be cordial about this, and
Hmm.
we're just going to go sign the papers and whatnot, and it should have been over within less than 6 weeks, maybe 3 months max. But that didn't happen. And so, what happened is that still to this day, 7 years later,
Mm.
I'm still going through this mess. And that should not be so. But the beautiful thing about it is that it's opened up my eyes to see what's actually going on behind the scenes.
Hmm.
And I also realized that it's not just myself. And this is where I realized that it's pretty messy behind the scenes. It's not even about my divorce case, to be honest with you. God, I believe, wanted me to go on this path, not only to be able to empathize and see what's going on with other people behind the scenes, but what I have discovered is that children are getting trafficked through our so called family court system.
Mm.
Seniors are being financially exploited to a degree you wouldn't even imagine. I mean, it's made me pretty sick. I don't know if you've ever watched that documentary, The Guardian,
I did.
right?
I did.
Right. And so the funny thing, it's not funny thing, but the crazy thing is that those actors, which I call, state actors and officials, are still currently on the bench. And I don't understand if they have exploited these seniors to such a degree and have stolen their assets, kidnapped them literally out of their homes, drugged them, put them in mental institutions, and sold off, their homes, their vehicles, taken control of their trust accounts through guardianship. It's called guardian ad litem's. These judges in family court appoint guardian ad litem's to seniors, so if they cannot take care of themselves. However, this wasn't the case in many of these hundreds of cases that have gone just terribly bad. So that's where, when I found out that this was going on behind the scenes, that's when I started doing even further investigations on who the players are behind the scenes and what's really and truly going on. And that's where my eyes really opened to this whole new world of corruption I had no idea about.
Mm,
So that's when I passionately, started pursuing, politics. Not politics so much, but research and doing my research first to
mm-hmm,
find out the depth of the corruption, right?
mm-hmm.
And knowing now what I know, I mean, it is just terrible, Michaels. And so the system is broken. The justice system is being weaponized against the people, and that should not be so. And those that have taken, an oath to uphold our Constitution and to serve the people are not doing that. You know what I mean? And that's
Yeah.
that's not how it should be.
So at the center of everything, good and bad, there's always the word why. Why do you think this has become the problem it's become? What's the why?
Oh, absolutely. The why is because, one, we're a police run state. Okay. And it's been that way for, I think, the last few administrations and whatnot. Um, the reason why it's become this way, because number one, there's no accountability at all whatsoever. There's no oversight and
Mm,
there's no transparency within our government. And that's what I look forward to changing and creating a civilian led integrity task force for oversight, accountability, and transparency within our government. Right now, we do not have that. As
mm,
much as they want to, scream it from their pulpits and whatnot. Oh, we have transparency and we're being transparent with you. There's absolutely no transparency and no accountability at all whatsoever. That's why these judges are completely unhinged and they do whatever they want. They think that they're God in their own courtrooms, and
mm,
they're not. They're not. And they must be stopped. They must be stopped because they are literally ruining lives and damaging, our kids, and yeah, we're going to need a lot of mental, health facilities because of what's going on.
mhm.
Mental, agencies and
Right,
whatnot,
right.
because of what's happening and what these, black robe parasites are putting our children through. Absolutely.
And so, just for, let's say you've been living under a rock. If you're listening to the show today, you've been living under a rock for the last few decades. It may shock you to know that what Irina is saying right now isn't some strange science fiction story. Like, this is a true thing. We can literally say, yeah, kids are being trafficked. Yeah, seniors are being abused. Seniors are being abducted from their homes, and
Mhm.
their homes are being taken. So there's a great film. I believe it was a Netflix film. It's called I Care a Lot. You guys write it down unless you're driving. Don't write it if you're driving. I Care a Lot is the name of the film, and it's a great film. It's played a little bit more, well, not a little bit, it's played a lot more for the comedic aspect. And there is no real comedic aspect, so I don't know why they made it a comedy, except that I think it was probably easier to get it through the censors to make the movie if it was a dark comedy, as opposed to the true fact of what it is it's going to bring tears to your eyes. Period. When you really think about the depth of it, it's going to bring tears to your eyes. Now, the other film as a documentary, which what was the name of it, Irina?
The Guardian
The Guardian. Now, this is this
by
story.
Billy Mintz. By Billy Mintz. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No problem. Hey, you're we're not in class. You're fine. So this is the story that the movie I Care a Lot is based on. So the story, the documentary, is not played for laughs at all. It is definitely poignant. It's going to be a tearjerker when you watched it. I actually fell asleep watching it and had nightmares. Woke up in the middle of it, watched the rest of it, and still started crying again because Irina, you can explain it better than me. So tell everyone, like, what can we expect when we see this The Guardian film?
Well, you know what? I had to watch it probably, numerous times. And I just couldn't, believe my ears and my eyes and seeing
Mm,
what, was happening. And I was like, this can't, this cannot be. I mean, this is
right.
literally happening underneath, our eyes and here in Las Vegas,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And, um, and so I watched it quite a few times to take keynotes of the players in there.
Mm,
And what I have seen is that this is a racketeering scheme that's going on.
right.
So this isn't just a one person, the fault isn't just on the Guardian that lied. There's a lot of, state actors that have participated in this scheme, right?
Mm,
Because it takes judges, it takes the, police officers, it takes the DAs, it takes many people, commissioners, it takes many people that are involved in this to make this happen.
mm,
And so I just, I couldn't, like I said, believe what I was seeing and hearing. But I'm actually in contact with the daughter that had her parents kidnapped from her.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm,
So this is how real it is I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. But back in 2019, when I first started watching that, I just couldn't believe it. But here I am today, and I'm in contact with her. And she said, hey, Irina, if there's anything I can do to help you with your campaign or bring this to light, to make sure that we can put a stop to this and an end to this, she's here to help us. Absolutely.
And people need to reflect on the fact that this has to do with serious money changing hands, serious property ownership. Like sometimes our seniors may own one or two houses, uh, maybe three even. And what can happen is a stranger can come into their lives, get the legal system to agree that this person, your grandmother, your great aunt, Nana, is not fit to
Right. And
hold
they're in
on to this property and that the
Mhm.
strange person should become the legal guardian. Now, we saw a little bitty taste of this with Britney Spears and the thing that happened with her father, and I don't think a lot of people understand. This was the exact same thing. Britney Spears' father, who had been managing her music career for years, uh, well, for whatever reason, he came in and said, "Listen, Britney's not capable of making her own decisions." And he was able to get the court system to agree, and this was in Nevada, that she could,
Was it in Nevada?
yeah, because he controlled all of her performances at the Planet Hollywood, and he was able to just keep booking her and booking her and booking her and agreeing to contracts where she was playing for life. She had no life outside of what he deemed she could do because he was her legal guardian. Now she fought it. There was a petition, there was a lot that went into it, and eventually she was able to get out of her guardianship. But she's one of the lucky ones. And I'm sure she was only able to get out of it. I'm sure there's a lot of money that had to exchange hands to make it happen. But this can happen to any of us. You know, most of us aren't wealthy enough to where it's going to happen to us. But if you have worked all your life and you've got this money set aside, there are people out there who, like a hawk, are watching you and waiting for that perfect opportunity to attack you and your finances. And if that opportunity happens to be when you are 82 years old, they're going to do it. And that's the world we're living in. Anyway, I kind of took over the conversation, but would you
No,
agree with
that's
what I'm saying there?
Absolutely, absolutely. And they're going to take advantage of the vulnerable. If we don't stop this train wreck now, it's just going to keep going and it's going to get worse. And this is the thing, these bullies, right?
Mm-hmm.
The more they, believe that they're successful at what they're doing, the more encouragement and empowerment they think they have to continue to do what they've done. And that's why I'm stepping up to say enough is enough. We're putting an end to this shish kebab. You know what I mean? This nonsense. We've had enough. We've had enough, Michaels.
Yeah. And so, what do we do next? Because it's not really just a voting situation. We can't just vote on an initiative that's going to make this change, right? What do we do?
So, well, the funny thing is, Family Court was established by, it was put on, has an initiative on the voter ballot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they decided back in the 1990s because the caseload for district civil court division was, overwhelming with all the cases from family divorces and civil, cases such as, lawsuits and whatnot. So they decided back then that they were going to establish a family court system, which was the biggest mistake I think we've ever done. Because family court is what I like to call a kangaroo court.
Mm,
It doesn't, um, it's a closed off court system where I've even personally been denied to have my friends in there for support or anything like that because of the corruption that is going on, of course, and they like to get you alone to ambush you.
mm,
But back to mentioning that family court was established back in the 1990s, specifically that they would only oversee cases pursuant to NRS 3.223, which clearly defines the parameters and the subject matters, right, that family court is able to oversee, which one of them is guardianship. So this is where we have, the crisis going on is in family court. So there are things that we can do, and we can take it back, to the voters and see, what we can do. Absolutely.
mm-hmm. And I like to say that this is not a problem that's happening to them. This is a problem that's happening to us. And I can't stress that enough. If you think that this has to do with someone's socioeconomic, or if you think that this has to do with someone's geographic location or their ethnicity, you are wrong, right, Irina? This is not that. This is everybody can be affected. Everybody is affected by this.
You are 100% correct, Michaels, on that, because I have, even friends that have gone through this literally, and they're doctors, they're attorneys, they're, dentists. I mean, mothers. I mean, it's just crazy. Fathers, parents, it doesn't matter. Everyone is susceptible to this corruption. Absolutely. It's just a matter of who they want to target. Hmm.
Mm, mm, mm. And who do they typically target? That's probably a good question. Probably. Who do they typically target?
You know what? I wouldn't say that there's um, someone who they typically target, although they do target mostly, the ones that are vulnerable, the ones that can't afford attorneys, the ones that, have, you know, um, uh, language, barriers, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And those who can't really defend themselves. And so I want to say there's specifically like, they don't just target, men or women in particular, or, you know, seniors in this situation. When I'm talking about family court, I'm talking aside from what they're doing with the seniors, of course, through guardianship and whatnot in family court, but I'm talking just in family court in general, right?
Yeah.
They target, many people. I couldn't say that they target anyone specifically. I think it's just one for all, to be honest with you,
Yeah, I
because
think, yeah, I agree with you. I think wherever they can get their hands on is where they're going to go after. Now, when I was watching the movie, the documentary movie, I noticed that the term dementia was coming up quite a bit. It seemed like the go to thing was to say, well, this person has experienced, it could be that grandma fell down. And so they had to call 911 because, she did They had the ambulance and the paramedics show up, and then they give her something to sedate her. That's when she says something out of turn, like she doesn't know some cognitive question they'll ask her. She doesn't know if Barack Obama's president or if Freddie Mercury's president. And so then they say, oh, well, she's got dementia. In steps the guardian. Who seizes the opportunity then to grab her assets legally and start basically a
Taking
guardianship. Is
over
that
their
right?
lives. Absolutely. You couldn't be more right. Absolutely. It could be the slightest thing. And they do come in with questions like that. And they do ask them questions. And if they say, well, I just, can't remember. But I mean, how many of us young people can't remember probably what we did a couple of days ago? But it doesn't mean we're incompetent, right?
Right.
Or should be, unfit. So, yeah, that's the dangerous situation there. So I do believe that we need to put a stop to this, Michaels, for
Well,
sure.
and just for the record, I want to make clear that I'm experiencing dementia right now, people. So don't let that be a thing. Like I thought that was pretty regular. So whatever that is. But anyway, all
Right?
right. So Irina, we want to champion your cause. We want to champion your run for governorship. How do we find you on the social media if we want to do that? Where in the world do we go to find you on social media?
You can go to Irina Hansen for Governor of Nevada. I am on X, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as of right now.
Nice.
And of course, our website, www.irinahansenforgovernor.com.
Irene. And is it that four, the number four, or the FOR?
It's the FOR.
The FOR is in the house. Got to always represent the
FOR.
FOR, people. And that
That's
is
right.
what's up today. It's been the Ace Michael Show. I'm Ace Michaels. It's been my pleasure to speak with Irina Hansen on the show. You guys get behind this. This is a pretty serious thing. And it's one of those things. No, it's not pretty serious. It's very serious. But it's one of those
Yes.
things that unfortunately, it is not going to slap you in the face until it has slapped you in the face. And you don't want it to happen then. You want it to happen
Right.
before that you've taken some action and you've done everything you could do to stop it. Ace
And
Michael Show. I'm out. You know what I say at the end of every show, guys. Live the life you love and love the life you live. Thank you.